Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness. Just check the sound is all working, please. Thank you, everybody. Hope everybody is well. It's good? Okay, thank you very much. I always check on every stream to make sure the sound is working okay, because we do have technical issues with our sound more than anything else. Now today we are doing our Wizkids miniatures. It will be a super speed painting extravaganza. Today we have the Dire Troll. Let me see if I can get this in focus for you. My cat is now meowing outside the door. Now this is this is my favourite miniature from the Wave 14. What I had to do as well with this one is there was a few little gaps, so I have used some of my Veleco putty, and as you can see I've filled in all the gaps around the arm there and just around the neck. I mean, when you've got a multi-part kit like this that's already been pre-stuck together by a company, you're not going to have it as good as you'd probably do yourself in the home, you know. So you will find a few little gaps here and there, but other than that it seems okay, so we can have a little work with this today. I think we need to zoom out a bit more for this one. There we are. I'll give you a little 360. It's a beautiful troll. Now after my little stream tonight, Philippe will be doing a troll as well. Also I have, in case I need to move on to another miniature, I have one of the my cat is jumping up at my door. It's freaking me out. We have a mind flayer. Let me get some focus here. There you go. This is a beautiful. This is from Wave 13 from Wizkids games. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Lovely pose and everything, and especially if you like Baldur's Gate 3. I've been playing quite a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. I'm waiting for more updates so I can get back into that game as well. Okay, so let's crack on with our miniature today, because an hour soon flies when we're doing awesome goodness painted. There we go. That's what my focus. Let me say hello to everybody in chat. Oh dear, I have missed everybody in chat. It's all gone up. I take it Scorpio was up there somewhere. We've got Michelle, Paul. Hello Paul, how are you doing? Paul's in the house. Bull GM. Hello Bull GM. Muse's Touch. Muse's Touch. I'm watching you. Carlos is in the house. Hello Gareth. Hi Gareth. The Star Wars man is in the house. Oh, by the way, if you love painting, or if you like playing Star Wars Legion, check out Gareth's channel. He's doing a Twitch channel now, painting the Star Wars Legion miniatures. Now I'm trying to catch his shows, but his shows are when I'm asleep, because of the time zones, of course. So we're trying to work out a show where I can actually pop in and see him painting my minis and stuff. Be awesome. Okay, who else have I missed in chat? We got Ty's in the house. Hello. Oh, Gerald's in the house. Hello. I lost loads and loads of you. All the goblins. Okay. The joy of time zones. I know, Paul. It's a nightmare. I mean, Legion is my favourite sci-fi tabletop game, and I have commissioned Gareth to paint nearly, well, the whole core set and a few other sets. So I'm really looking forward to that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my paints done. I got my little warthog here. You can hear the warthog in the background. I'm just going to put some paints on my palette, and then we'll fly into this troll and get some nice wet blending done. Now, if you watched my show the other day, you saw I did the wet blending on my last miniatures. Well, it's the same principle today. Fast and easy. If you learn how to wet blend your miniatures, you can really start speeding up on your regiments and your armies. It does take a bit of practice, but wet blending for me is fantastic. You can get some real nice shadows and some highlights just by adding that first initial coats of paint. Okay, I've got some dark greens. I'm going into a very light green. This is a maggot white. Did sorry, I'm in shock. I'm just in shock. I just read something in chat, which is just, if I could put GIF number 1, there'd be about 20 there. Now, Paul in chat has just said he's never watched a Star Wars movie. I'll be honest, never seen a single Star Wars film, but I have played the Lego game. On oh. Oh my god. That's worse than Claire saying she loves Star Trek. Oh my. Oh, Paul, if you need to watch Star Wars. You really do. You really do. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll have a bit of black on there as well. Oh my goodness. I forget, you know. I mean, I am. You know, I was brought up with Star Wars in the 70s. You know, I went to see the very first Star Wars in the cinema with my dad. Absolutely amazing. Every generation of Star Wars, there's a new following of fans, of course. I'm the old school fan, of course. Okay, what we've got today, I've got a regiment brush by Army Painter. I've got some nice colours on my palette, so if I can get them in screen a little bit more. And I'm using my tissue to mix and take colours and blend colours on my tissue. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some greens. Let's see if we can get this in focus. And I'm just adding that to my tissue. I've got a tiny bit of black, and we're just going to darken off that green, make it really dark. And what we're going to do is start underneath on the heads and just get some paint on. There we go. Now Star Wars is amazing, absolutely amazing. I had all the original miniatures as a kid. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Now, if you watch closely, what I'm doing is I'm just slowly adding black and green together, and we're just kind of mixing that as we go around the miniature. And the darker of the greens will be underneath the arms in the darkest recesses, underneath the heads and the skulls of the body, and we're just pulling the lighter greens into the darker greens, and it gives you an instant shadow and an effect that we want on the darkest areas of the miniature. And of course we can just build up with some lighter greens going over to the top parts. Is it too dark? Can everybody see that okay? So I got seems very dark on my screen. Hi Tal, how are you doing? And Philip's in the house as well. Can everybody see the colours okay? Tad more light. Yeah, it seems very dark. 1 second. I'll see if I can increase the increase the brightness a little bit. This is what happens when you're using webcams. You can't. You're just working with what you've got. It's not until afterwards, when I've taken my photographs, you can actually see all the high detail of what's actually been done on the stream. But what here, we're just moving the dark onto the lighter areas. So we're just blending dark green into light green, but we're keeping all the parts where it would be dark recesses dark green, and then moving around with the lighter colours. So what we'll do again, all we're doing is we're adding the green, adding a tiny bit of black to that green, and I'm going to the recesses with that darkest green, and then we can add lighter greens on top and build it to the top of the heads. So like underneath the chin will be very dark, because that would be a shadow, so we can actually add a very dark green under there. And going around the bases of the arms. Okay, so as long as you can see roughly what I'm doing, like I say, I'm just mixing it. It's a very I'm using a very dark green for the initial coat. So straight down the back there, that's going to be dark green, going down the spine, and just hitting the bottom there. And then what we do, we just go into the green, and we can just lighten that up, and we're using that dark green. We've got quite a few different layers for this, and it will get lighter as we progress around the miniature. But what we're doing is we are using those dark initial greens to be our shades for the whole miniature. And as we get higher up, like on this face here, we go in lighter. And now lighter green again. I'm adding some of that white on this top one, just to make it even lighter again. And we just go over the top a little bit more. So the top of the head, top of the ears, you get a nice little lighter reflection to the top of the head. Just work our way around. And then we're going back down, so we're going back into the darker greens, and we can start mixing that in. Eye sockets, of course, will be a darker green as well, so we'll just go underneath there. Like I say, it's a big brush I'm using, so this is just your initial start. Now, I need to do it in sections because the paint will dry too fast otherwise. So as you can see, I've done the back part there. So you see we got the darks now going around, then it goes lighter towards the highest areas, then back down dark again. And we do the same for the whole miniature around the front. So again, we're going to underneath the arms, so it'll be nice and dark. Let's add in some more of that green. And we just work our way to the dark areas. What I like to do is use my paint and make my shadows with the paint that I'm using by doing the wet blending. Of course I can add an ink wash if I wanted to later, but this way I've actually done a lot of the miniature with the actual different shades before I've even started adding ink washes and highlighting. And it's just a really fast way to make a good looking miniature. I got a Reaper Miniatures raid. Yay! Welcome everybody. Thank you Reaper Miniatures for raiding the channel. It's so kind of you. Thank you for following. See, this is what happens when you get a raid. The heartbeat goes up and you start. I'm trying to paint. Thank you for following, Dirk Plug. Thank you for following, Moo Cow 2. Thank you for following, Cheesebagger. Thank you for following, Otter Mama 3. Oh, awesome! Thank you so much. I'm trying to. I was. I'm trying to. Thank you for following, Room 42B. I'm trying to paint a Dire Troll. This is a Dire Troll. Actually, it's. I'm sorry to say, it's not from Reaper Miniatures. It's actually from Wizkids games. And I'm just painting. I'm wet blending all the colours. I'm using some dark greens. I'm actually using MSP paints though, so you can forgive me. You can forgive me for I'm using the MSP paints. So, it's very kind of you to raid the channel. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm giving away a Reaper Mini painted Reaper Miniatures zombie dragon when I reach 500 followers on my channel. So the more people that follow the channel, the quicker I can give away the free Reaper Miniatures, which is awesome. Thank you for following, Evil Twin Mason. I bet Philippe's watching this now and he's like, Mikey, you don't have to raid me later. Now, my channel is based on mainly speed painting and tabletop quality miniatures. So if you want to learn how to, you know, get your tabletop miniatures ready for gaming, then this is the channel for you. Reaper Miniatures have amazing studio painters. They are the professional of the professional in the professional world of miniature painting. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to show you a different way of painting in a style that you can get a tabletop miniature for your game done for your gaming needs, which there's many people do that, but when you have so many Reaper Miniatures, because we all back the Bones Kickstarters, so we got thousands of miniatures and we all got the boxes of shame. So what I'm trying to do is show everybody how to get your miniatures painted up to a reasonably good tabletop standard for your gaming needs, and if I can do that and help everybody and keep everybody entertained at the same time, then I know I'm on to a winner. But I'm not the most confident most of the times. You got me shaking with all these people that joined just now, but it's a tough one. But I'm doing it, and I'm not going to stop. And it is fantastic that people support what I'm doing. like all my goblins. Absolutely, I would be lost without all my little goblins in the goblin army. This is a crazy troll miniature. It's more of a, I'd call it I don't know, more of a zombie type mutation troll. You know, it's got all these different heads popping out and arms everywhere. But as I said to you before, I am wet blending the whole miniature, and I'm using the darkest greens underneath the neck in all the areas where the shade would be. And by wet blending, you can get a miniature done a lot faster for your tabletop, and it's a very good start before you add any ink washes. So I've got some dark there, and all I'm doing is adding a lighter green and pulling up the dark from that green as we go up higher around the troll head. If I can get it in focus, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. It's just fast and easy, and as I go closer to the top, I just go to a lighter green, adding a little bit of that maggot white into that green just to make it a little bit lighter, and then we can just pull that up to the top. And I'm using a huge brush because it's a big miniature, and I want to get the coverage nice using the wet blending. So by using the larger brush, I'm covering more area of the miniature and getting less little brush strokes on the wet blending. Back into the green, a little bit lighter, and we just move that to the top, and we can just finish off the head nice and simple. So what's happened there is we've got the head, it's dark at the bottom where the shade is under the chin, and we'll do the same on the ears and then on the eyes, and then it goes lighter towards the top of the head, and that's how we want the miniature. And like I said to everybody who's painting, always imagine you've got your light, or the sun is above your miniature, and then when your light is shining down, just copy the light source from your tabletop lamp. Any part of your miniature that is got a light on it, that's your lightest areas. The dark areas is just follow the paint like I've done there. On the chest, I've got a very dark green on the chest because that's where it's going to be dark with that light source shining down, and that's how it works. It's simple and an easy way to work out where all the lighting is going to be on your miniature. Because I'm starting off with all the main colours on the skin, it doesn't matter if I go over any of the skulls or any of the capes, because it's our initial base colour for this miniature. So we can be a little bit sloppy, it's not a problem. We just want to get that coverage of all that green in the different shades. It's a troll that eats other trolls. It is indeed. It is indeed. It reminds me as well of the remember the Thing movie, John Carpenter's the Thing, where the body where it changes into different creatures. It's a little bit like that. Oh, The Thing is a classic. The Thing is one of my favourite 80s films. Absolutely amazing. I did have a few miniatures many years ago based on The Thing. I wish I still had them now. Just to show you an idea now, I'm adding some of that maggot white to the green and making it lighter. We're just adding that to the tops of the highest areas, and that just starts to bring out different sources. There we are. Okay, let's carry on with the arm there. Give my brush a wash. Oh well, Aliens, Tal, Aliens has got to be the #1 80s sci-fi film, really, hasn't it? Definitely Aliens. Like I said, once again, I'm just mixing in the greens. Now all I've got is 3 different greens today. I've got a dark light and a very light greens. I'm not saying all the different colours because it's easier just to say it's a dark green or it's a light green, because so many different paints have so many different names, and all the different companies have their own versions of different colours and different paints. And a lot of you won't know what the colour is I'm using because you don't use that particular brand in painting. So I find it easier just to say I'm using a nice dark green or a nice light green. It does make life a little bit easier for the people who are learning to paint, because it can get very confusing when you've got so many different names for one actual colour. And so many different companies have the same paint, just a different name. Just going to a smaller brush. I'm struggling. What it is, I used I got some new brushes from Army Painter today, but what's happening is they're already not working too well for me for some reason. So I've given them a good wash as well. I got rid of all the residue, but they're already, for some reason it's splitting, so I'm not happy with that. I'll be sending that one back. Okay, we'll just go with a smaller brush and we'll carry on like we're doing. Just mixing the greens, and again we're building up those colours on the face. And as we get higher, we just add in more lighter green, and we're pulling that over the top of the forehead and the rest of the miniature. Take care, Gerald. Look after yourself. Maybe in the next couple of years, if I keep on streaming, I'll get better camera type equipment. At the minute I'm using the Logitech webcams, and they do the job very well, but you're not getting the super quality picture that you see on other people's streams. I do apologize about that, but I am a very small streamer, so I try my best to get everything on stream. What I'm doing now is I'm just building up the lighter colours, just to give you an idea how the trolls' heads can all start to come alive just by adding extra highlights to parts of the face. And we're still keeping with the same initial colours, really fast and easy. We're just adding to the highest areas, and because the paint is still wet, we can just really get some nice quick highlights and finishing touches to the highlights on a little bit of the nose, a little bit over there. And again, we are just doing green. There's no other colour but green today on this miniature. As you can see, I'm using my finger. So, sometimes when you add, like, I'll give you an example. I've heavy loaded my brush there with a light green, and I'm just putting that light green onto the nose there, and say just here. Okay, what you do, I use my finger and I remove the paint with my finger, and what happens then is it almost blends it into the miniature. It's a very fast way of getting rid of paint and pushing it in with the rest of the green. It's a simple little way, but it's a simple thing to do. As you can see, instead of it being over bright now, because I've pushed that paint with my finger and removed the highest parts of that paint, it's actually kind of blended in with the rest of the mini. If you speed paint or paint lots and lots of regiments of armies, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It all comes kind of natural after a while. You paint so many thousand miniatures, you start doing things without thinking, and it just, little things just get added. Okay, let's carry on with that arm. So it's so nice to see everybody chatting away there. You'll have to excuse me if I'm ignoring you a little bit tonight. When you're doing wet blending, it is quite difficult. You've got to try and get things done before the paint dries, of course, because you want the paint wet to get that initial paint on. So doing wet blending on a live stream can be quite difficult, and keep an eye on chat, and get totally freaked out and nervous because Reaper Miniatures just raided me. Oh dear. I remember my first ever stream. That was just coming up 9 months ago now. I've only been streaming 9 months. And my very first stream, Reaper Miniatures raided me on my very first stream. I mean, it was absolutely amazing, but terrifying as well. Absolutely terrifying. My Warthog is busy tonight. Now I've named my paint mixer Warthog, kind of named after that fighter plane. Philippe's named his Angry Piggy. So everybody's been naming their paint mixers little funny names. Now, if you are a huge hobbyist, totally recommend getting yourself a paint mixer, but it's not something you need. It's definitely not something you need. I'm not trying to put you off buying one, but it really is for somebody that does paint a lot and is really into the hobby. They are expensive. My paint mixer was £99 or something on Amazon. But I love it to bits. I mean, it's used every single day of the week. But you do not, you know, you can actually use your hand to shake your paints. I'm just a lazy boy. Okay, let's get a start on this guy's little leggies. Again, it's going back into a dark green. So we're just mixing a little bit of green on my tissue here, a little bit of black. And remember, black is very, very strong, so you need the tiniest part black with your green to get a very nice dark green effect with your paints. Like I say, I'm not going to get it all done on the show today, but I'm really wanting to just show you the wet blending and how it can really help get your miniature looking fab before you even start adding real details. Just by doing that initial paint, we've got some lovely dark greens there going into light greens, and it just works really, really well. And this is how I love to paint. I love to do all my miniatures like this before I even start adding detail, because you've almost got a completed miniature before you've even started. I mean, most people would call this their primer coat, but for me it's almost a complete work. All I need to do is, if I need to add some ink washes and a little bit of touching up, and it's almost done. Wet blending saves you so much time, and you can see how the miniature is going to look before the end. It's a really nice way to paint. It is difficult. It does take a while to learn it. I'm not gonna lie about that. But once you've got a handle on wet blending and how the paints work, the paint will do the work for you. All you're doing is you're adding that paint to your miniature, and the paint it's called wet blending is because the paint is blending into each other and giving you that different colors. It's also knowing your colors as well. If you know what colors you want where, and knowing the shades, and like I told you before about highlighting and the light source, I always use the dark colors and then I work up to a light color on all my miniatures. So I've always got the highest part of the miniature will be light, the underside of all my miniatures will be dark. And you can see it in my photographs. When I post them on Twitter, you can see all my miniatures. I've painted them the same way. You can see you've got the light on the top and the dark underneath, and it just makes an easy way to get your miniatures looking great for your tabletop. See, all I'm doing here is I've gone a very, very dark green on the back of the fire there, and I'm just going and I'm adding lighter green as we go higher and to the kneecap of the leg, and by the time we get to the kneecap it's nice and bright. And what we can do then, we can go back into that darker green and we can start pushing that around the underside of the thigh, which gives us a nice little shade. And once this whole miniature has dried, of course it blends in even better. It looks even better. Once it's wet it can look a bit, but believe me, once it dries it looks awesome. Thank you for following Abata24. Oh, is that my Renegade Shank? You be careful, Renegade Shank. Renegade Shank is one of my moderators for this channel, and he's a moderator, but he's also an instigator because he's a nutcase. We love him to bits. Okay, this is coming on really well. Like I said, I keep my streams to an hour long, and what I try to do is in every stream that I do, I'll try and do something that's informative, something that you can hopefully learn from, because what I do then is, of course, all my streams I'll upload them onto YouTube with an edited version. And when I finish the miniature and upload it onto YouTube, I also do a 360 of the finished miniature. And then, of course, you can see what it's like finished. But what I try to do on my actual initial Twitch stream is not only have a chat with you all and say hello and awesome stuff, but it's to just show you maybe one thing that I'm doing. Like today, it's wet blending, and it's just to give you an idea of what you can do with just two colours. Because all I've done today is I've used dark green and light green, and my black, of course. And it's just if I can do that on each show and just show you in that hour something different on each stream, or then I know I'm doing something correct, you know. Yes, he is, Ty. He's a good example of the bad example. Oh, Alberta, I have. It's not just one. Michelle, she's just come up now. I got Michelle, Muse's Touch, Renegade Shank, Tommy as well. Maybe sometimes when Tommy comes on, these are all absolutely amazing people. But they're the 4 people that can turn chat. And what they do, they try to make me laugh. They and it works. It's almost like their mission is to make Mikey laugh. Yes, that's the one, Claire. Has Philippe gone to his channel yet? Is Philippe ready to stream, or is it too early? As you can see, it's getting darker and darker as I go further down the troll. So as we go underneath, just like a painting, we are going nice and dark the further we go down. I'm adding more and more black to that green, going right underneath the thigh there. So it's almost black, but it's not. It's still green. So there we are, we've got the shade now going right down the back of the thigh and slowly going a little bit down the back of the leg, underneath the feet here. Of course, that's still green, but we're going for a very, very dark green. And there we are, that's that done. So it's ultra dark, but we're still using green. Sometimes people use black, and that can be too dark. What we're trying to do is use shades, but you need to keep the same color all over the miniature, because even with a shade, the skin underneath is still green. Even if it's really, really dark, it'll still be green. Yes, they love me. So yeah, sometimes I do have a little breakdown. I know. Not today. Dirty feet. Right, dirty feet. Ah, there's Shank. There he goes. So on the top of the feet, what we're doing is, again, keeping it light. Bottom of the feet dark, top of the feet nice and light. I'm not worried about making a mess on the rocks because they are all going to be painted anyway. So it doesn't matter if we have a few little places where we kind of go over. It's not an issue. And that's another thing, if you remember with your painting, we all make mistakes. It doesn't matter how many years you paint for, you're always going to make little mistakes. But with the paint, you can correct your mistakes. Here we are. And what we can do is we can add a nice little dark bit of green in between the toesies. Just add a little bit of add a little shade going around the toes. There's a tiny little bit on the bottom there. Okay, we're almost getting all this skin done. I didn't think I'd get this far, to be honest, in the show, because it's quite a big miniature to do the wet blending on. So I think I've given you a good idea of the different greens and how I've used the greens to make different shades and highlights by just using those simple colors. There we are, the last bit now. Just adding a bit more black to that green, just for the back and underneath. We've still got one arm to do, and the hand. They're all goblins. Anybody new? All the people being very rude. They're actually my best friends, so forgive them, please. I'm not getting raided by some nasty people saying nasty comments, by the way. So they are actually all my friends. To a stranger looking in, they'll be like, what, who is this guy? He's nasty. Look at, what's she saying? Oh my god, moist. Yeah, that's why we're all goblins. We've all got a bit of a wicked sense of humour, so bear with me if you've just followed me and you're thinking there's a bunch of nutcases in the house. Thankfully they are all friends of mine. Oh, of course they do. Of course they do. This is why I was trying to warn you earlier. Shank the instigator. Shank is one of my moderators. It's like really. Okay, that's my hour almost up. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to jump across, and I'm going to give my friend Philippe a raid. He's also painting a troll tonight, so I'll pop in and say hello to him for 5 minutes. I do want to thank Reaper Miniatures for jumping on and raiding me tonight. That was absolutely amazing. It's always a pleasure. So lots of love to John and everybody else from Reaper Miniatures. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to raid Philippe, who's another awesome friend of mine. Could you just check that he's actually streaming now, please, Claire? I'll give you another quick look at what I've done today. As you can see, you've got all the darks and the lights and the greens. I couldn't show you much more in the limited time we have for this stream, but I will show you the finished 360 version on the YouTube video.